Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Cher. So recently I've done a few Sephora hauls. A big luxury haul was one of them, and some try-ons. I've already tried out this Tom Ford Emerald Dusk palette, but as I promised you guys in those videos where we were trying things on, I wanted to do a more in-depth review of this palette, and I particularly want to compare it to a recent palette from Violet Voss that we got in Ipsy for April, I believe it was. Kind of similar color story. So I really want to do kind of a contrast and compare video to see, could it potentially be a dupe or, you know, a similar color story? What are the formulas like? All of that. And try out a few different looks with this palette and talk about the formula a little bit more. So that interests you, stick around and we will hop right on in. All right, guys, so welcome if you are new. I do a lot of beauty boxes here on my channel. I've been really getting into a lot of luxury luxe products as well. We do a lot of reviews, hauls, try-ons, tutorials, and vlogs on the channel. So because I got this in a beauty box and then also have my luxury shopping curiosity peaked, I wanted to kind of compare it this video. And if that's something that you enjoy too, you'll want to stick around here for lots of fun like this. So let's go ahead and dig in. I have a previous reel and short where I swatched this up for you guys. And so I'm going to insert that in here for you. And so at this point, let's talk a little bit about this Tom Ford palette. Now, this baby was $90 at Sephora. I think when it first dropped from the Tom Ford site, it was like $95. So we're talking at almost $100 luxury palette that is only a quad. You're only getting 4 pans in this. We're going to talk about, do I think it was worth it? I did say in that previous video, my try-on video with Sephora, that I wasn't so sure if I felt it was truly worth that much money. It's wonderful to own. It's a beautiful palette. I do think that there's a lot of other palettes though that perform as well with really nice color stories. And so that's part of what I want to do, is check out one that I think does so. So as far as this Tom Ford though, we are looking at pretty much all shimmers. Even this one right here has a shimmer, but when you put it on the face, you know, because I wear it a lot as the shadow, like V tend to anyway, it kind of comes off as a matte a little bit more on the eyes, and everything else is a very sheen, sheer, very light shimmer that just really picks up on the light very well, but it's not ultra pigmented from what I have seen so far. I am going to go ahead and share a couple of the looks with you guys that I've already worn. First of all, I took just the neutrals out of this. So we took just these colors, these 3, and we're a very natural look that kind of goes with everything. And I think it is absolutely beautiful. Love this look. It really does pair perfectly with most things. Then we added in just a pop of green in the corners. Not a lot, just a tiny little piece, just to kind of see what it would look like with a little accent. I want to kind of walk through with you guys more on a few more looks and ideas of how you could wear this palette. So let's start off with that first, and we will walk through the color story for the Violet Voss as well. But first, I want to kind of showcase the Tom Ford first. So today I'm going to pull out this green a lot more than I did on the other 2 looks and kind of make it a central piece. But first, I'm going to go ahead and I think I honestly am going to use this darker one for my transition over my lid this time. So let's come in and put this in the transition shade, and it really does blend so beautifully. Like, it's like butter. This is a very silky, the best way I know how to describe the formula is like very silky. So which I do love, and I think that is so luxe. I love like a nice silk formula. Like, I feel like I'm putting down a silk pillowcase, you know? That one is the most matte you're going to get in the formula, even though it's not a true matte. I don't know if you can pick up on any of the shimmering texture in there, but it really does lay down a little more like a silky, buttery matte. So definitely a dream to blend and work with. I mean, it really is stunning. So by all means, I mean, it's a gorgeous palette. It blends gorgeous, beautifully. So definitely a very high-end formula. Like I said, I just think that you could probably get some other formulas too that are equally as nice for maybe just a little less price. All right, I'm going to go straight on in with it. I'm going to go ahead with that green. And this time I'm going to put it right on my lid. But like I said, these are not ultra pigmented, guys. So it's still not like huge pop of green. But when you put it on the lid like that, it does show up more. You are getting a lot more of the green. But if you're going to use it as accents and stuff, you're going to have to really work with wetting it or doing, using like a fixing spray or water to coat it on a little more. Now, that was with the brush. Let me just try it a little bit more with the finger. And we're going to go, yeah, straight for the lids. There we go. Let's see if we can pop on a little bit of this for our highlight. Yes, there we go. That's nice. So that shows up a lot more against the green than it did with these soft, subtle colors. And really, that is about it. I probably would not, I'm not even going to use, I don't know, we could come in and put this one in somewhere, like maybe even right in the middle. Bring a little light to the center, you think, and make almost like a little halo eye with it. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty. There we go. All right, I need to clean that. And then I might bring a little bit down. Then I will bring some of those same colors down on the bottom edge here of my eyes. I may put a little dark eyeliner on with this, just because with a darker, color scheme, I like to do a little darker. So I'll pop some eyeliner and mascara on and we'll have our final look with this one. All right, friends, here we have it, look number one. Now, it's definitely a lot more green smoky than I really expected because it looks very bright green in the pan, don't you think? Like bright green, and then on the eyes, it has more of like a rusty green, much like darker, rustier green in there. Of course, it was kind of blended into that other browner color, but this is what you're getting with it. So I really didn't expect green smoky, honestly, when I did this look. I really expected a brighter green, but that's how it came out on me. All right, so it looks pretty good. Now what I want to do is, I actually want to see if I can create the exact same looks that I'm creating with the Tom Ford. We're going to try to recreate it with the Violet Voss. So this is, just so you guys know, is the Pretty in Paradise palette from Violet Voss. And here is a peek at it. So the green is obviously what stood out to me. That brown is very similar, I think. Let's compare the two here. The only thing is you're missing some of the lighter colors though, for sure. But see the green and that darker brown there. But then these are a little more tan, whereas I think in your Violet Voss palette, you're looking a little more peachy pinky, a little more on the peachy side there. So there are some differences. It's probably not an exact dupe, but I think that this middle row here for sure could almost be similar. So let's just see if we can create a similar look with it. I think we right there already have our answer. let's swatch both of them also. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch up Violet Voss real quick and put Tom Ford next to it. I'll be right back. All right, here we go, guys. So on this side is Tom Ford. On this side is Violet Voss. Wow. I think you have a pretty darn close. Y'all, the first three are almost exactly alike. I think I was right. I think Cher nailed it. Formula is a little different. Tom Ford's is just a slightly bit more sheer, just a little less pigmented, maybe just a touch more green. This one maybe is a little more seafoam bluey green, I think, but pretty darn close. And look at the next color up, pretty darn close, although the Violet Voss is maybe just a little more shimmery. And then the next one up is even pretty close, but Tom Ford might be just a touch lighter. What you're missing is the highlight part. This is very light. It barely shows up on my skin, and you don't really have a color like that in the Violet Voss, but I think those first three colors, spot on. All right, guys, so now that we've established that, I am going to remove this makeup, and we're gonna start over and see if we can recreate the same look with the Violet Voss. All right, let's do the same thing. I'm gonna come in here with this one this time to create that transition. Like I said, a little more sparkle, I think, on this one. Yeah, you're gonna see more pigment, and it's a little browner or like coppery. A little more copper, I think, than the last one. So a little darker, a little more copperier, and not blending so well. You see that? It's very choppy on the blend, but I think we can still come up with the same idea. All right, now let's come in with that blue, or green, I mean. And yeah, so it's definitely a brighter green already than the Tom Ford was. So this one's definitely the brighter green. This is the bright green I thought that the Tom Ford was going to turn out as when I started putting it on my eyes. But the Tom Ford turned out to be a lot smokier green. So it looks different than on the swatches, doesn't it? This is a lot more of what I was expecting. But I'll go ahead and put a little pop under the eyes again. Most of my eyeliner stayed on, so I'm not going to do a whole lot more, and my mascara. All right, guys, and here she is. Definitely that Violet Voss is much brighter, a different color. The other one was a lot smokier, so definitely don't think it's a dupe after all. It was very close, though, on the swatches, wasn't it? I mean, I guess you can kind of pick up on that the Tom Ford is a little darker, like deeper, smokier green. But it sure looks similar on the swatches. I think on the eyes, it's very apparent, though, that that green is definitely a brighter, more seafoam color on the Violet Voss. But similar idea, I guess. Also, like I said, I think just blending-wise was not as easy, not as silky of a formula. So formula-wise, definitely not the same. But I really love this color. And honestly, I kind of like the color of the Violet Voss in the green, but the formula of the Tom Ford is my, like, if I had my perfect ideal palette of this color story. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you another look from the Tom Ford real quick. You know, just another idea of how to wear this green, and we will probably wrap it up after that. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, so this one, I'm going to do another one that's just sort of a little bit of the green accent. I'm going to go ahead and put down that color right there again, kind of all over the lid. Maybe all over. Just kind of all over. Oh, that's my favorite color of this whole palette. It's just so silky and smooth and like, that's just the prettiest color right there. This is honestly my favorite out of the palette, is the neutral colors and then with a little subtle bit of green. I'm gonna take the green this time, and this time we're gonna put it on the outer edges and make it more of an accent on the outside rather than the inside. And we're just gonna kind of make a little green pop. And make that kind of the V. What do we think? It can kind of just be like a green smoky eye on the outsides. Yeah, I think that's kind of your look. I got it a little uneven on each side. Yeah, put a little dab along the bottom. Then we can just try to come back in and do a little pop of the highlight again, right here. I'm gonna like try to clean up with concealer and maybe put a little more eyeliner on. I think I would still go with like a black eyeliner for this too, because I've got slight smoky here on the edges, and I'll be right back. All right, so here's kind of a finished look. So I think that could be another look, but let's go for another. This is gonna be look what look are we on? Look 4 now? Yeah. Now this can be 4A and 4B. Yeah. So I think we could take it a step further and make a whole halo eye. It's going to take a little bit more of that green and pop a little more right here in the corner. See how that does. That would be pretty. Yeah, I probably brought this side over too far though to really make it happen, but ooh, and that's pretty. It's like sparkling everywhere. You see the sparkle? A little bit more, but I think that works right there. Yes, like a nice little halo eye. So yay. So a few different look ideas. I would need to come back and blend a little more green over here now. It's off balance, but you get the idea, I think. So gives you a few ideas of how to use this palette. Now, could we recreate this with the Violet Voss? Obviously, I think we're going to end up with a very bright green if we do. So, do you want to go for it? We can give it a shot. Let's do it. All right, guys, my poor little eyes are definitely getting a workout today. I'm going to use this one right here that is next to the green. If you own this palette, you want the more pinky. That's what's going to give you the closest to that first. Here, I'm going to do it with my fingers like I did that one. That first color we put down of the Tom Ford. It's still going to be a little pinkier here, I think. Yeah, than that Tom Ford is. But this is the closest color to it. That was one thing that struck me when I did my Ipsy try-on video and I tried out this palette for the first time. It looked so different on the eyes than it did on the swatches and in the pan. And it really threw me. So, yeah. Okay, now we're going to come in with that green. And that's barely going on. So it's interesting. The Tom Ford I thought was less pigmented, but going on eyes goes on much better than this Violet Voss palette does. Yeah, already you've got a completely different look here because this is like peach and green. That's almost what these colors are looking like right now. So a little bit different, but this is the same idea. Now let's go for the halo eye with it. Ooh, you got to really dig in there. It's not very pigmented going on. There we have it. So kind of similar, but definitely still a lot more seafoamy green. And once again, I need to clean up underneath, but if you just kind of look at it like this, there you have it. So still gives you the same idea, but a lot brighter, almost a touch more towards the bluey side. It's green and peach instead of that like gold and smoky green, right? But same idea. All right, so I think I'm going to end the video here. I think we've established they're not quite a dupe, but fairly similar. But, you know, I think your Tom Ford is definitely a lot smokier green in there. I think your Violet Voss is a little more towards the like flamingo-y, peachy colors too, rather than golds. The Tom Ford is definitely a much silkier formula to work with, blends beautifully. The Violet Voss, it's not so much that the Tom Ford isn't pigmented than the Violet Voss is, because going on the eyes, the Violet Voss is hard to get on. You got to really build it up. The Tom Ford, you don't necessarily have to build it up. It's just the colors themselves are maybe a little more subtle, if that makes sense. But they go on and blend into the eyes better. So that's the best way I know how to describe it. So definitely a very different formula and different shades that they looked like. But gosh, swatching them, they sure do look alike. So I think it's just much different on the eyes than how they swatch and in the pans. So that's my take. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that maybe that gives you an idea of a more affordable palette you can play with. It's not going to give you the exact same look, but will still give you the same idea in color story. So very fun, summery look to sport, and I'm really enjoying having both of them, but I'm going to be using them in different ways. Now I can see that. So that wraps it up, guys. If you enjoyed that, make sure you stick around and pop that subscribe button. I will also have the links to whatever we used today, the palettes and all of that, down in my caption. Everything is shoppable links, and I always appreciate when you guys support me on the channel. They are affiliate. I do earn a commission, and I appreciate all your support in general here. So you don't want to miss more, pop that subscribe, turn the notification bells to on, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.